It started as a routine day for two teenagers, the children of a respected black diplomat, until an unexpected encounter with law enforcement turned their world upside down. Pulled over and searched without clear cause, the kids were left shaken, their dignity questioned. News of the incident quickly reached their father, a man with influence, a deep sense of justice, and a determination to protect his family. The very next day, he arrived, demanding answers and accountability from the local police department. What followed was a moment no one saw coming, an official apology from the officers involved. But what really happened during those tense hours? How did the diplomat's actions lead to such a rare response from law enforcement? Stay tuned as we dive into this powerful story of injustice, courage, and the fight for respect in the face of adversity. The diplomat's children had always been taught to stay calm and respectful, no matter the situation. But nothing could prepare them for the fear and confusion they felt that day. Stopped without explanation, they were questioned and searched while trying to make sense of what they had done wrong. Their family's car, a symbol of safety, became the stage for an ordeal they'd never forget. When they finally called their father, their voices trembled as they recounted what had happened. He listened, anger simmering beneath his calm exterior. This wasn't just about his children. It was about something larger, something systemic. He spent the night gathering details, reaching out to trusted connections, and preparing for the confrontation that would follow. The next morning, he walked into the station with a quiet determination. He wasn't there for revenge. He was there for justice. What unfolded next was unexpected. As the diplomat entered the station, all eyes turned toward him. He was composed but firm, carrying the weight of a father's pain and a professional's resolve. The officers, caught off guard by his presence, were quick to shift their tone. But he wasn't there for pleasantries. He asked pointed questions. Why were his children stopped? What made them targets of suspicion? Why wasn't he informed immediately? Behind the scenes, the story took on different layers. The officers involved scrambled to justify their actions, but inconsistencies in their accounts began to emerge. Meanwhile, community members started to rally, hearing whispers of what had happened. Parents shared their fears. Local leaders called for transparency. The diplomat's reputation added pressure, but this wasn't about his title. It was about his children and every family that had ever been left without answers. Tension hung heavy as the truth slowly began to surface. As the diplomat stood his ground, the tension in the room was palpable. His calm demeanor only amplified the unease among the officers, who were beginning to feel the weight of their actions. One of them attempted to explain, stumbling over their words, but it was clear there was no solid justification for what had happened. Meanwhile, outside the station, word of the incident spread. Community members started gathering, their voices rising in unity. Questions turned into demands. What would be done to ensure this wouldn't happen again? The children's mother arrived, her worry giving way to quiet strength as she stood by her husband's side. Inside, the diplomat pressed harder, asking to see the reports filed and body camera footage. Each unanswered question raised the stakes. The officers exchanged nervous glances, knowing the situation was spiraling beyond their control. Something was about to break, but no one knew how. Just as the tension in the station seemed ready to snap, a junior officer hesitated and then spoke up, breaking the silence. "Sir, there's something you need to see," he said, his voice barely above a whisper. The room froze. The diplomat narrowed his eyes, sensing a shift. The officer pulled up body camera footage on a nearby screen, and what played next stunned everyone. The recording didn't just show the unjust stop, it revealed a deeper issue. Comments exchanged between the officers hinted at bias and premeditated profiling. Their casual remarks, caught on tape, painted a troubling picture. The diplomat clenched his jaw as the weight of what he was seeing sank in. This wasn't a mistake. It was a pattern. Outside, the crowd had grown larger, their chants echoing into the building. Inside, the officers realized the situation had escalated far beyond what they could control. The room fell silent as the footage ended, leaving no room for excuses. The diplomat turned to the officers, his voice steady but filled with controlled anger. "This isn't just about my children. How many others have you treated this way?" The chief of police, who had been called in during the commotion, finally arrived. She watched the footage, her face growing stern. Without hesitation, she ordered an internal investigation, suspending the officers involved. But just when it seemed justice was on the horizon, an unexpected twist emerged. A high-ranking official quietly entered the station, representing the police union. He attempted to downplay the situation, insisting that procedures were followed. The diplomat didn't back down. Instead, he pulled out his phone and made a call. Moments later, a press statement was released, exposing the footage to the public. The crowd outside erupted in cheers as they learned the truth. Change, it seemed, was finally within reach. As the truth spread, the diplomat's actions became a catalyst for change. The footage sparked outrage, leading to demands for reform not only in the local police department, but in other areas facing similar issues. The suspended officers faced disciplinary action, while the police chief pledged to implement new training programs and accountability measures. For the diplomat's family, the ordeal was a painful reminder of the realities many face daily. But it also showed the power of standing up for what's right. His children, though shaken, found strength in knowing their voices mattered. As the crowd outside began to disperse, the diplomat stepped out to thank them. He looked at his children and said, "This is just the beginning." Their experience had become a powerful story of resilience, justice, and hope, proving that change starts when someone dares to demand it.